Start the spear by drawing the general shape onto a piece of photo matboard. You can either draw the piece freehand or you can use the template at thewoodlandelf.com/pattern/Odin. Once you have the outline drawn, cut it out with a pair of scissors or an X-Acto knife. Then just pop the spear shape out of the matboard. So now go back to your paper template and you're just going to cut off the middle spike. And then you're going to cut a 1/4 inch off all the way around the outside of the middle spike. So then trace that onto another piece of matboard. And then of course cut it out. So then lay that piece of matboard on top of the other piece of matboard you cut out, right along the middle spike. And just stick a little glue on the back to hold it in place. Now get yourself a roll of electrical tape. You can also use duct tape, but I like the electrical tape because it's smoother than duct tape. And then you're just going to wrap all the way around both pieces of the matboard. It'll start to make those little ridges like on the spear. You'll just go all the way down. When you get to the prongs, you're going to have to do it piece by piece because it's too hard to get the roll under them. So you just go across, and then cut the piece, and slip it under the prongs. And so here it is with the double pieces of matboard entirely covered. So then cut yourself a very thin strip of photo mount board. You want it to be about 1/4 inch thick. And then measure it along one of the prongs, cut it to size, and then cut the end off at a curve that slopes downward. So start a piece of tape on the back side of one of the prongs, hold it in place on the prong, and then start wrapping the black tape around it. And again, because the prongs are in the way, you'll have to cut off a strip and weave it through the prongs. And what this does is it makes the ridges on the side of the prongs. So you'll go all the way up the prong, and then you'll do the same thing on the other prong. And then just hide the very ends of them with some more black tape. And then put a final piece right across the end, just for good measure to flatten everything out. And so here it is with the ridges all taped. Now for the designs, there are 2 ways to do this. The first way is the easier way, although it does not look as good. What you do is you put some glue on the back of some yarn, and then you basically draw your design with yarn. On Odin's actual spear, the markings are engraved, but we're going to do them raised because it's much too hard to cut photo matboard. And then just secure it on the back a little bit with some tape. Now the second way is a little harder, but it looks a lot better. You just take some hot glue and you draw your design with the glue gun. It gives you crisper lines, but you gotta hold the glue gun really steady, and the smaller your glue gun is, the easier it is. So then you'll do all that again to make an identical spear piece and hot glue it to the back side of the first one. So for the handle, you'll either get yourself an old broom handle, or I'm using a cornstalk here. I kind of like the cornstalk because it has the little ridges in it. So if you're using a broom handle, what you'll do is you'll just put the spearhead on top of that, and then you'll just tape it right on top of the spearhead. If you're using a cornstalk like I am, you can take it a step further by cutting a notch down the middle of it and sliding the spearhead into that notch. And then you'll still tape it to the spearhead. So once your spearhead is attached to your handle, you'll coat the entire thing in gold paint. So here you can see that with the yarn method, the yarn still looks fuzzy, which is why I don't like it as well. But the hot glue is smooth under the gold paint. So if you have steady hands, I do recommend the hot glue method. You also want to make sure it's warm out when you spray paint it, otherwise you end up with these little bubbles in it like I did because it was cold when I was spray painting this. And so here is the finished spear.